Talking of freaks, as I said to you, we're going to go over to the press conference live at 4:30. But talking of freaks, let's head over to someone that's already there now. talkSPORT's excellent, and he is excellent, Fight Night presenter Adam Catterall joins us ahead of the words that will soon be coming out of Eddie Hearn's mouth. Adam, how are you?
Talking about freaks.
Yeah.
What I'd say is that's some introduction, that's sunshine. Yes, I'm very well. How are you, mate?
Do you know what I have to say? Listen, you know I'm a big.
Oh wow!
What was
I
that?
think you just logged off.
Oh, are you there? Oh, he's gone.
No,
So I told you, freak.
That's clearly obviously
Freak.
logged off.
Do you remember we did a big interview with someone and I asked a question, we heard that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh no, that was with what's his name? That was with Tony Bellew. And I was like, come on, and he just went no and just that was it. So
Why
Adam
did you put a Manchester accent on?
Oh yeah. So Adam Catterall is at the press conference. Oh, he should be joining us again now. Adam, are you there? Can you hear us?
I'm good. They put me on video this time, mate. They obviously want to see my pretty face, so hopefully you should be able to see me on your screen.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That'll confirm what I said earlier about the word freak.
Listen, honestly.
Sorry, you know I love you. I saw you yesterday. I think it was on Gym. I saw a clip on social media doing the rounds. You were very animated, understandably, about where boxing could be going if this fight isn't going to be postponed. We still don't know one way or the other what's going to happen, but you're there, you're on the scene. We've got 25 minutes just under until Eddie Hearn addresses the nation, the press, etc. What do you think is going to happen this afternoon?
Well, initially, I genuinely thought that the injunction that they were seeking would have been upheld, and therefore this fight would be going ahead at the weekend. But the general consensus on the ground here at the Fighter Hotel is that is not going to be the case, that this fight will be called off. We've already seen plenty of the undercard fighters who were staying at this hotel leave the premises. Conor Benn himself, when I arrived, was putting his bags in the back of the car. He was making his way home, I imagine. Eddie Hearn left shortly after that. We're being told that Eddie Hearn will be back with us in around about 15 minutes' time to obviously, as you've just said, address the nation. So the general consensus within the Fighter Hotel is that this fight between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn will not be going ahead. In fact, I'm just being handed something right now. I can read you this right now if you want, gentlemen. This is just being handed.
Of course, off you go.
After discussions with various parties, we have taken the decision to formally postpone the bout between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. It is undeniable that the British Boxing Board of Control's decision to withdraw their sanctioning was that's just fallen off. That was a flaw without any due process. That remains a legal issue between the promoters and the board, which they intend to pursue. However, whilst there are legal routes to facilitate the fight taking place as planned, we do not believe that it is in the fighters' interest or those involved in the fight to pursue at such a late stage. There you go. There's the official word that has just come through, that statement coming in from Matchroom and from Wasserman, that Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. is off this weekend.
Catman, you've just read out the statement there. And listen, Eddie Hearn was singing a different hymn sheet yesterday because he was adamant the fight was going to be on and saying all this, that and the other. But today, what do you think's made him now realise and come to, obviously, the realisation that this fight shouldn't be happening?
I don't want to guess at what is going through Eddie Hearn's head. Hopefully he'll be joining us in about 10-15 minutes, so I'll get to speak to him and ask him those questions up front. I'm glad that we're in this situation, that this fight isn't going to be progressing at the weekend. Sense has prevailed. Obviously, the British Boxing Board of Control, the sanctioning body, pulling out of this fight yesterday, saying that the fight was prohibited, is obviously a key factor. It was good to see Eddie Hearn earlier on today put on social media that he would not pursue other ways of being able to put this fight on, i.e. going to Luxembourg, for example, for a licence and using that. And I'm glad that we're in this situation now, that I'm here to be able to tell you that that fight is off. I don't want to guess what has happened. I'll hopefully get to speak to Eddie and I'll relay that to you before you boys finish your programme at 7 o'clock.
Adam, how long have I got you for? I don't want to keep you in case you've got to go off. I want to ask you some more questions. Is that okay? Have I got time with you?
Yeah, man. Fire away.
Okay, so I'm just reading what you've read out. I'll read it again in case people are joining us. After discussions with various parties, we have taken the decision to formally postpone the bout between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. It's undeniable that the British Board of Boxing Control's decision to withdraw the sanction was flawed and without any due process. Now, so judging by that, he goes on to say that remains a legal issue between the promoters and the board. I still haven't seen the sentence from any side, either side that promote the fight, that says Conor Benn has failed a drugs test. Why is that?
Because as of yet, he hasn't. This is my whole point with some of the things that I've been saying on talkSPORT this week. The system is flawed. What has happened is that obviously he's given a sample to VADA, the voluntary anti-doping,
Sure.
of which is split into two. It's split into an A sample and a B sample. It's the same sample, but it is split into two in order to protect the lab that is testing the sample, because there is, on the very, very minuscule rare occasion, there is contamination issues. It doesn't happen when you do test for a B sample. 99.9 times out of 100, it comes back with the exact same ruling as the A sample. The reason why they're saying that he hasn't failed the test as of yet is because technically he hasn't, because that B sample hasn't been tested.
Okay. When will we get the findings of that B sample?
I'll ask Eddie Hearn now as soon as I see him, mate, because I don't even know if that B sample has been sent off for testing yet.
I mean, Catman, that's the maddest thing about it, is that, as you said there, and the way that you kind of describe it, it sounds quite straightforward. And listen, I played football, so I know exactly. You give, obviously, a random drugs test, you have the A and B sample. But the fact that no one's really asking the question as to why this B sample was never tested, that to me sounds quite strange.
Well, I'll be asking that question, trust me, mate, when if Eddie Hearn is willing to speak to me later on, because that is obviously the key issue here. We're being told that the A sample, adverse findings in that A sample came back 2 weeks ago. So they've known about this for 2 weeks. They've gone back and forth between each party. And obviously the information has come out this week with the Daily Mail breaking that story, I think, on late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. The fact that they've known about this for the best part of 2 weeks and that the B sample wasn't immediately asked for to be tested is alarming. I'll ask that question and hopefully I'll have some answers for you by 7 o'clock.
Okay, last question, then I'll let you go. Do you think that Eddie Hearn made this decision because he wanted to make the decision, or he was backed into a corner and had no choice?
Yesterday, Eddie Hearn was on talkSPORT, wasn't he, saying that at the moment there is no violations and therefore we're aiming to proceed with the event at the weekend. Like I said, it's going to be interesting speaking to him when I do hopefully get the opportunity to speak to him to find out what changed his mind in that process.
Okay, so just to confirm, we're going to let you go now. We'll get you back on in under 20 minutes' time, and you'll have Eddie Hearn for us live on Drive on talkSPORT. Is that correct?
I'm going to try, mate. I'll try my best.
I know you will. Thanks, Adam.
Cheers,
Thanks so much for coming on.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.